Hello. One of the questions I often get asked is, what's the most common problem that you deal with? Is it aggression? Is it separation anxieties? Pulling on the lead, not reliably recalling? But actually, by a mile, the most common problem I get called to see, and I suspect that every trainer or behaviourist, call them what you will, gets called to see, is actually dogs who can't control their own arousal. They get so excited about stuff, they make bad choices. That's the problem that I'm most often called to see. What the owner really thinks is the problem is actually the symptom. The not coming back, the pulling on the lead, the aggression towards other dogs, the separation anxiety. These are not the problem. These are the symptom. When I get this upset, this is what I do. When I get this angry, this is how I behave. So the problem is the dog can't control itself when it finds itself in that state. And we see the reaction to that situation as the problem. When really what we should be doing is teaching our dogs to calm down. And every day I see people who are being advised to do stuff to keep their dog stimulated rather than to help him to relax. So my dog doesn't own a licky mat. Licky mats, what's that about? My dog doesn't own a snuffle mat. My dog doesn't have toys to keep him stimulated because when he's indoors, I want him to relax. Do you remember when we were kids? Our parents used to say, "Oi, this isn't a playground. If you want to run around, go in the garden, go to the park." The house was a place where you were supposed to relax. And that's what I want my dog to do. We know that as an animal, they would spend 15 to 16 hours a day sleeping. Our dogs don't get to do anywhere near that because we keep them active all the time. So when we're not there, instead of doing what our parents did when we were kids, and we went off to school and our parents went off to work and the dog got those 8 hours to sleep, now we put him in daycare because the RSPCA and Battersea and all these groups say you should never leave a dog for more than 4 hours a day. This is madness. Of course we should. He wants to be left alone. What does he do most of the time when you're sat at home with him? He's sleeping. That's what he wants to do. But we make that difficult for them. So we end up with dogs who are overstimulated all the time. So when I'm at home, what I want my dog to do is just relax. Chill out, go to sleep. That's what I want you to do. When I take you up the park, run around like a maniac, I'll chase you, you can chase me, we can play with a toy. When we're at home, I want you to chill out. So the first thing I want you to do is rid yourself of the guilt that you're not keeping your dog stimulated all the time. He doesn't need stimulating all the time. I suspect half the dogs that I see wish their owners would go out to work during the day and leave them at home on their own so they can get some sleep. But more importantly, what you then have to do is deal with the underlying problem. Why is it when my dog sees another dog, he loses his mind? Why is it when he sees a person, he goes mad? Why is it when he sees a squirrel, nothing I say works? And it's because in those situations, he can't control his own arousal. So when you get your trainer in to help you, what you want is a trainer who will help to teach your dog to control itself so that when it finds itself in these situations, it's better able to deal with them. And there's no point just trying to focus on the key one. Well, the key problem, the main problem for me, is he's aggressive towards other dogs. If you can't get that dog to keep his feet off the counter, or to let somebody in without jumping up, or to walk down the street without pulling on the lead, forget about trying to teach him not to attack other dogs or attack other people. He can't even control himself on the little things. So start off teaching your dog to control himself around all of those little things, every single one of them. If you get a trainer who says your dog's problem is he's aggressive with other dogs, we're going to take him to the park and work on his aggression towards other dogs, and they're not going to address anything else, you're not going to succeed. Because all of those other things will undermine the training. If I don't have to listen on this and this and this and this, why should I just listen on that? Exercise is also not the answer. Well, we'll burn all that energy off him. You need to take him out more so he runs around more, and that will burn off all of that arousal. No, it won't. It'll just make him fitter. So now he can misbehave for much longer because you gave him longer and longer runs. We just have to give him more exercise. No, that'll just make him able to misbehave for longer. What he needs to learn is some basic self-control. And once you put that into that dog, then you will see how quickly your training starts to improve. So when you're looking for your trainer who's going to help you, that's the first thing you want to look at. How are they going to deal with his impulse control? So that when he says, I can't help it, I have to do that, they give you tools to fix every single one of the scenarios where that occurs. And then you have a really good chance of ending up with the dog that you want. The reason so many are in rescue, oddly enough, at puberty, around 8 months, is because they've never had those tools put into them. And then at 8 months when they become a teenager and say, well, why should I do that? Why should I listen? Why should I? There's nothing to stop them. Impulse control, that's the key to your success. Good luck.